humanity. It's April 22, 2019, and it's your lucky day because it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. And hi, my name's Paul.
Hi, I'm Bev.
Yes, sirree.
Morning.
Good morning. We have a wonderful show. We always have a wonderful show.
I think so.
It always comes
Yes,
together.
I
I was
do.
looking at all the past ones we've done.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Some little nuggets in there,
Over
huh?
here, a
Little
bit here.
gems.
There we go.
Yep.
All right. So we
Okay.
have a good question today because I was inspired last night. How does BioTouch relate to the music of Motown?
This one excites me. It really does.
Why does it excite you?
Oh my God! Come on, Motown. It's like part of my whole growing
Right.
up and my whole life. The music of Motown.
Yep.
Whoosh.
So I was watching it was called Motown 60 Grammy Celebration.
I'm so disappointed I missed it.
Yeah,
Mm.
and it was, I mean, the music of Motown. So they interviewed, they didn't interview, so they had Diana Ross and they had Berry Gordy. He's the father of Motown. He's
He
the guy
is.
who started it back in the 50s, and he gave his little speech at the end. The guy was so present.
Oh.
He was so engaged with people, and it just inspired me because he said the whole goal that he wanted for this music, he wanted his label to bring people together from all walks of life through a legacy of love.
Wow. Seriously, that's
And
amazing.
you know, you just got that sense watching for 2 hours. People were together. You had all colors, all ages, all kinds of backgrounds, and everybody's up there singing and they're dancing.
Oh God,
And
yeah.
it was a celebration of love.
Oh my goodness.
So of course, well, BioTouch is a legacy of love.
I know. Oh my goodness.
So we thought, well, what a great show, huh?
What a great show. I think so. It's an awesome question.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are going to talk a little bit about how BioTouch is just, you know, it's the same goal. It's the same thing of how I started with it. And we actually have from the book that Deborah Schildhouse wrote called BioTouch Healing with the Power in Our Fingertips. There's a section in there where she's interviewing me.
Mhm.
And Bev's going to read that here when she can find it.
I have found it. I'm good. Oops. Okay. And yes. So this is from a chapter called A Touching Bond. And Paul begins by saying, Cheryl and I were hanging out in Norman's living room when people started gossiping about two local feuding families. Apparently, the people involved had never gotten along, in a similar way to the Hatfield-McCoy conflict. Members of the clans lived in the general vicinity, but had avoided each other for decades to prevent bloodshed. Yet everyone was bewildered because whenever any of those family members happened to show up at Norman's at the same time, they were able to sit together, peacefully, waiting their turn. Suddenly, an elderly rancher who'd been sitting with us got to his feet. He was one of the town's old-timers. He looked at us and said, "You want to know why those feuding clan members can sit together peacefully in this living room? It's because Norman and Carol brought love here, and people can feel it. Yep, Norman and Carol brought love to the Mangus family." Valley, sorry. Ooh, look at that. Well, Paul said, his words sent a shiver through me, Paul continued. Then I heard aha booming in my head. I immediately thought of the people in the world who were suffering, feeling alone and afraid, the common denominator of all humanity. But Norman's healing method eliminated pain, provided a sense of well-being, and delivered a form of love that people desperately needed. I couldn't imagine a better application of love thy neighbor than that. Wow.
Wow's right. And we're going to talk about the wow too. But that was what just, it clicked in my brain. You know, that old timer saying Norman and Carol brought love to the Mangus Valley. You can't, and here it was, people from all walks of life, different belief systems, different cultures, people that would never say boo to each other on the street,
Wow.
were all there for the same reason. They were all suffering in some kind of pain, and they all wanted a little bit of relief. And here it was, just with this touch.
Oh my goodness.
And what were you talking about? The BioTouch sings to the cells or
I
something?
said BioTouch. When we were talking about Motown, the music. I said, well, BioTouch sings to the body. It sings to the cells in the body.
And that's what was happening. And so when I was watching this Motown show last night, it just was the same thing. You know, there was no distinction or difference, and that was sort of the revolution that I wanted to get involved in when that old timer said that.
Right.
It was like, this needs to get out to all humanity. This will break down the barriers of separation.
And as we've said many times, BioTouch is a revolution of love. Yes.
So we go on later on in the book, different parts of the book, and there was one part in there where Deborah asked me a question about that.
And also, Paul continued, people ask what makes BioTouch different from other healing touch techniques. They want to know what makes it so special. And what do you say? I say it's magical the way BioTouch reaches down to that scared child in all of us and promotes feelings of well-being and love. BioTouch is love. Love is BioTouch. It's all we do here. We give people love. We're not here to fix people, but to serve them. We get to participate in their healing and feel their joy. It empowers people to help other people. And if those people just happen to heal in the process, perfect. Oh.
So, in love, there's no trying to change anybody. You're not trying to improve a situation. You know, you have a feeling of empathy for somebody in pain and suffering, and you meet them at that, experience. And yet, with just the touch, leaving people alone to figure it out on their own self-awareness, healing becomes very powerful for that individual.
Yes, and I've often thought that it's only in love that true healing can take place. And when we get to participate, in, as you say in the book, just participate in that healing for someone else without, the need to say anything or be anything other than just standing in the presence with them, I can't imagine a better field of expression for love between two people than that. Right. That just gives us the full advantage, opportunity to experience that.
And the fact that bodies get better, that's just sort of the icing on the cake.
Yes.
I mean, it's just...
Yes.
And when you see that happen over and over and over, and I was thinking this was 60 years of the Motown celebration.
Oh.
Well, we're babes in the wood. BioTouch has only been public for 30 years.
I know.
So we're still...
We're the new kids on the block. Yeah, that's what I'm always telling everybody. Yeah, it's true.
So we're encouraging people to put this into application, because this is like in the when they were going around the room and there were young people and old people all dancing together and singing together, and I realized that BioTouch is a generational. It gets rid of the generations too.
Right.
It works for the 6-year-old working on grandma, and grandma working on the 6-year-olds, and the parents working on the newborns, and it just goes on and on and on. It really is a uniting factor.
It is. And when we say it's for everyone, that includes everything that we think about. All those things that separate us, that's what BioTouch unifies about us.
So that's why we're trying to keep the presentation really pure, real clear. It's just about doing these few sets of points. It's just about taking these 2 fingers and you're touching another human being on the skin. That's powerful. And you can do that in a public setting. I mean, I've worked on people in the stores, in the bars, at formal gatherings, because and this is the language, like you said, the language of love through the body.
Yeah.
And that's what we all identify with.
Right.
No matter where you go on the planet, every body is the same.
Right. We all have one.
Yes.
Like it or not. We're all here.
The Dalai Lama always said, if you want to understand the oneness of humanity, not as a philosophy, look at bodies.
Just look at the body.
Right.
Oh my, it's very true. Well, and we were talking about earlier, I'll let you
go ahead.
I'll let you continue and tell them what Barry said about when the purpose of that music. And
yeah. So he goes on. There was a whole segment that when he did Motown, when he was interviewing people to be a star, he said the song had to kick in at the first 4 bars. Like, you had to be hooked then. And so they went through and they started playing the first, even within the first bar, everybody in the audience knew the song.
Knew that song.
It was in their being.
No, it's true.
And they're moving and they're singing.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's what BioTouch does. BioTouch in those first bars called the greeting.
Right.
In that first greeting, there is a wow.
Wow. And the body starts
right.
being open to
grooving
it, right?
And moving.
Right. I know.
We tried to find some Motown to play.
Yeah.
We couldn't get it.
Oh, well, we tried.
We got a little country music from Horace,
right, for
which
Horace.
we'll play. And so that's the thing. And I remember once it was a psychology conference, and a head neuroscientist who worked with body, mind, spirit connection, but he documented it. He said that whenever you have a wow experience in your life, you have a change in the deepest seat of consciousness.
Oh, wow. That's profound. Wow. Oh.
And the interesting thing was, he did say to the crowd that was listening to him, we had a little booth outside the room there. He said, I want all of you to go out and have them do that touch therapy on you, that BioTouch stuff. He says, because that is how you come to an experience of wow. And I was like, yes, because that happens all the time.
Yeah, we hear that all the
time.
Yes,
no matter where we go. If we go to the school like you did, if we go to an art fair, if we go to a health and healing fair, if we go to, it doesn't matter where we go. When people sit down and they have that greeting done and maybe a couple of other sets of points like the neck and the head, when they're done, they open their eyes and go, wow.
Except I had one at that school go, oh my. She said, oh my. And I forgot to tell you, that little girl I was talking about last week when Sherilyn and I went, she didn't say just, oh my gosh, BioTouch and meditation, that's all we need in our lives. But when Sherilyn first got through, she opened her eyes and she says, BioTouch is magic.
Wow.
I know. I just remembered that when I was reading that.
Wow.
That from the book, what you said, the BioTouch is magic. That's what this little girl said. And Sherilyn and I just looked at each other and yes, it's true. Yeah. So I was going to say one thing, because we were talking about, what do we always say about music? That music we recognize is a universal language, right? That's what BioTouch is when we talk about every single one of us, working through a body, and we can recognize each other as in our bodies, and we're all here. We're all sharing the same pain and suffering and fear and separateness. But BioTouch is a universal language of love.
And in that, you don't even need words.
No.
That's why the touch is so important.
That's right.
It's important not to have a concept that you're moving energy or projecting energy, or that this person should be this way or that way. In love, everything unfolds itself. And then both the person being worked with and the person doing the touching, everybody heals.
I know.
It's just this symbiotic dance. It's a dance.
It's a dance to the music. Oh, I like that. That's why we see it's a relationship of healing.
So it is inspiring. The Motown and BioTouch are equal in their presentation of trying to leave a legacy of love.
Looking to see. I wanted to read that one little sentence that Gary said in the book to finish up with.
Finish this little segment up here. So again, we have the last part written by Gary Schwartz, Dr. Gary Schwartz, who did the research, years of research with us.
Oh, and he says this one amazing little sentence, actually. The kind of love that BioTouch fosters is a high level of love, including empathy, compassion, caring, kindness, gentleness, protection, safety, warmth, gratitude, appreciation, and respect. He got it. I mean, my goodness, all of that in that.
And it sort of blew him away, because he's done a lot of research with other types of healing techniques, and they all had a belief system. They all had, you had to believe in a certain hierarchy. There was projection of energy and things. And to him, BioTouch, in that love, it was almost sort of silly that there was no belief system. There was no story you had to believe in. And so it was sort of, just sort of blew him away and making that kind of a statement of that high level of love.
And I will just say, when that is present, all you need to do is just be there, be present.
Yes.
That's the simplicity of that whole thought. Love is just is. Yeah.
So we're asking all of you to reach out and dance. I mean, touch.
Ooh, sing a song.
Reach out
Sing a song.
and dance.
Sing a new song to the body.
Sing a new song.
Yeah.
Let's bring BioTouch in to be that new legacy of love.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
bring it in and put it next to the Motown, to the country western, to the rap, let's put it right there. Let's make it that simple and just make it a movement. A movement of the fingers dancing on the body. So through that, we always want to make sure you learn a set of points. And today we're going to teach you a set of points that is going to work with this health condition workshop we have coming up Thursday.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yes.
Really. We're going to have a big turnout on this one. I think.
Opiate addictions, any addictions, is this Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. with Eileen Webster, one of our certified practitioners who is a registered pharmacist. And we're going to teach those few sets of points. And so today we're just going to show you one of those sets of points, which is the poison set, which is important. And it's all wrapped up with allergy and infection. So let's teach you that, and we'll just be right back with you in a minute.
The infection, allergy, and poison sets are 3 separate sets of points. They all share the same hold point, which is the same as greeting point 1, located in the fleshy area just below the base of the breastbone. As with all sets of points, these may be touched repeatedly. Infections of any kind anywhere in the body may be addressed by holding X and with the other hand touching point 1, which is at the base of the large muscle on the right side of the neck and slightly above and behind metabolism point 1. Allergies or allergic reactions may be addressed by holding X and with the other hand touching point 2, which is on the right side of the neck, directly behind metabolism point 3 on the top of the large muscle. To address poisoning within the body, hold X and with the other hand alternately touch point 1 and point 2.
There you go. That can't get much simpler than that.
We say that about everything that we do. How simple is that?
So, we hope you enjoyed this little show
Well,
today.
we certainly did.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Dancing to Motown, the legacy of love of Motown, and the legacy of love of BioTouch. Please join us, justtouch.com. Send us some of your comments of how BioTouch has inspired you to just enhance that legacy, to dance that legacy.
Yeah, that's good.
And share with us, as we will share with you, a song that was written by Horace Barnes, which is called Put Love into Action.
There you go.
So we want to thank Horace Barnes for putting it into a country song.
Yes.
And thank you all for joining us.
I know.
Thank you. That was wonderful.
Paul. That was fun. And thank all of you for joining us. And, oh, yes, have a lovely week.
Bye.
If pain has got you down and you live in town, take a trip down to Pima Street. The people down there are people who care. They will get you back on your feet. Put love into action. Put love into action. If you ever want to have any real satisfaction, choose love while you still can. Don't even try to